So what should I be looking for when I'm choosing a brand?
Well, first of all, I think you need to use to think about choosing reputable brands, not just in panels, but in installers as well, right? So once you've chosen your installer and you're happy with them, you need to choose what the brand and the panel brand is going to bring. First of all, that it's a reputable brand, that brand is going to be there in the next 20 years, right? For example, these panels will last you more than 20 years. The brand, the installer brand or the retailer brand, of course, it's important, right? Choosing brands that have been in Australia and have been trading for a while, right? You know that those brands as installers and as panels are going to be there for the long term and not just going to let you hanging after a while.
Yeah, okay. So is it right to say that I would choose my installer and my installer would recommend some brands for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
They usually choose, I think Industrial Electric usually chooses the best brands in the market and they will recommend that.
Hi, I'm Rosh from Energy Matters. Welcome to our podcast, Road to Zero, where we dive headfirst into all things renewable. Join us as we chat with industry experts, tech specialists, and some of your favorite TV and radio personalities, asking the renewable energy questions that you may want answers to. Our goal, of course, is a zero carbon future. In today's episode, we're catching up with Andres Novoa, Marketing Manager of Longi Solar Australia. And as you could just tell from that clip, he is a tech expert and a TV personality. Welcome, Andres. How are you?
Hey, Rosh, how are you? Thanks a lot for having me here.
Mate, you are very welcome.
Making me famous. Rosh is making me famous.
Look, I do what I can. I just do what I can. But, mate, to be honest with you, you did so well with in that question with Carleen earlier, as we saw from Renovate and Rebuild.
I was nervous. I was very nervous. I'm not usually on camera. I'm usually behind the camera. But well.
Well, you handled it incredibly well on the day, and obviously, since then the TV show has been very well received. Did you enjoy your stint on the Renovate and Rebuild?
Okay, I think it's been great. It's been great to have the opportunity to bring the brand, the company, to end users, to customers like this in these kind of spaces. We haven't done that before, so that's why we've been so excited to show to everyone. To be there, to do whatever needs to be done, so we can bring the brand to Australians.
No, good man. Well, look, let's have a quick, a bit of a chat about that, Andres. I mean, obviously, Longi Solar. If you're in solar power, everyone knows who you are. But just for those who don't, I mean, how long has Longi been in Australia? How long have you guys been playing in this market?
Look, in Australia, it's fairly recent. I gotta say that Longi made its appearance in Australia compared to other solar manufacturers recently. So it first came in around 2017.
Yeah.
But the growth has been so quick that it took only like a year and a half until the company actually decided to have established office. And in 2019 is where we established the Longi Solar Australia Pty Ltd office, hiring sales and product at the beginning.
Yep.
And then quickly after that, everyone else came in. Like the company just saw a growth. It's been a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and we're already a team of 15, 17. Next year we might have a few more people joining. So that's the growth that we've seen so quick.
That's fantastic, mate. And like with yourself personally, I mean, how long have you been with the company now?
I started in June last year.
Yep.
So I think my hiring process was throughout the first lockdown.
Really? Join the club.
It was a great opportunity. It was quite funny. I was not actually looking for anything, but Longi came. They knocked on the door. I knew a little bit about Longi. I had to do my own research, to be honest, because I came from an inverter brand. I was working for an inverter company.
Yes.
So it's completely different. Like, you know, a bit of the industry.
Yeah.
And then I was quite surprised because look, to be honest, my experience in the renewables industry is not that high. I started in renewables maybe 2.5 years ago only. So I was working for this inverter brand, and then Longi knocked on the door. I said, like, okay, well, this looks like a good opportunity. They were just growing. It's the first marketing position for the company. They have so many goals, so many objectives, and I could be part of that. I could be part of growing the company, knowing that the company look, it's a massive company globally, and in Australia, they're starting, or we're starting to grow, and I was able to be part of it. So I just thought it was a no-brainer. Great opportunity, great company. I asked a few colleagues, "Hey, what do you think about Longi?" And everyone was like, "Oh, wow, that's quite the company. That's big."
Yeah,
Um,
and to be fair, I think a lot of the competitors as well. Anyone that you ask from a competitive company, would have obviously been, happy to obviously, give you a positive testimonial or recommendation, but also been a bit fearful because Longi, I always pronounce it like a typical Londoner and calling it Longi, which is actually probably is
I
Longi.
sometimes switch my it is Longi, but yeah, I think most of the people in Australia, they say Longi, so I end up
Yeah.
just switching as well.
All right, fantastic. Well, it's not my UK background; it's my Australian one that's causing it. But really, they're an absolute powerhouse. I mean, if you were to summarize Longi with just three statements, just three key things to differentiate them, what would those three things be?
Look, one of the main things, and I think that's something that I tell everyone, it's being a vertically integrated company is so important, because we are able to manage quality control. We are able to manage everything from the beginning. So that we know that the product is efficient, it has the utmost quality, and that it's made to last, right? The other thing is, well, like we were saying, Longi is massive. Just in 2020, we shipped like 24.5 gigawatts of modules, capacity of 50 gigawatts. We did like 58 gigawatts of wafer. So it is, I mean, that's numbers. And for some people, when we talk about megawatts and gigawatts, that might mean nothing.
They're like, what's that?
We Exactly, like what does that mean?
Yeah.
That is just to say that the company, for example, in 2020, is the company that shipped the most modules in one single year ever. So
So
that is,
essentially, it's fair to say you're almost like the world's largest manufacturer of solar panels.
yes. Everyone would like to say that they are, and I think every manufacturer wants to say that they are. But I think when you come to the numbers, you say, okay, with the largest, because we've shipped and we've produced the largest amount, right? So that means
Which
there
is
is demand
incredible.
globally. It's not just
Yeah.
Australia, it's not just APAC, it is globally that there is demand for the wafer, for the modules. Um, so yeah, and I think that the last thing, yeah, the third thing that I want to say is R&D. Longi spends around 5% of its income in R&D, and not many companies can say they do that.
Yeah.
In 2020, Longi spent like $400 million just in R&D. So that means that the company is committed to making great products, to making products that last, that actually deliver what they promise. And like I said, every time that we tell everyone how much money Longi is spending in R&D, well, it is a big chunk.
Which is absolutely phenomenal, and that is a massive differentiation in any industry across any type of brand. To actually invest that percentage, but that amount of money to ensure that you've got a quality product and your product keeps on evolving and it meets the criteria that you guys are stating for yourselves that you wanted to reach. I mean, that's just phenomenal, mate. That's huge.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
No, good stuff. Look, quickly, going back to Renovate and Rebuild. I mean, obviously, having you guys on the show was awesome. I mean, like, I certainly I'm a massive fan of Stevens, and like, obviously understanding it, and then obviously knowing you're on board, and getting you guys on the show was always going to be an absolute no-brainer. But not only did you participate on the show, as we just saw from that little clip, chatting to Carleen on the season opener, actually, episode 1, but you also participated when we helped out a charity, and that was on episode 8. I mean, let me just quickly play a little clip from that one.
So many people lost their property. So many people lost their properties during those bushfires, which was terrible. And we heard about Warren and Joanne's individual situation, and we just really wanted to help out. From a solar power perspective, we had a look at the property itself. Smart Energy Answers did a site inspection and calculated that we could fit a 3 kilowatt system on that roof. Based on that, Longi Solar came to the party. They've got some new technology, some incredible technology, and our good mates at FEMA have supplied an inverter and battery. So at least this way, Warren and Joanne can not only use the electricity that's being produced during the daytime, but all the excess electricity can be stored to be used at night time and early morning.
I love those little endings at the end. So that was a 415 watt panel, wasn't it?
That one was a 370. The one we
370
installed, for them, the 3 kilowatt system. But it is actually great that you played that one, because in the show, between the 2 episodes, we were able to showcase the strength of the high MO4 range, and this is the range of. It is, let's say, that is the same technology, but different sizes. So we have the 370, we have the 415, which is the one that we showcase in the first episode of the Renovate or Rebuild in Queensland.
Yep.
And we have the 450 watt panel, which is more for commercial applications. But saying that, it just shows the flexibility that the whole range has. Like, we thought, why would we want to do like different new panels instead of just having the same technology, which is working? The 370 watt panel was the most used panel in 2020 and a big part of 2021. It was quite popular with installers, everyone, because it hit that sweet spot for Australian roofs. And then we thought, okay, let's bring something a bit bigger. So we just give them flexibility. We just give them different alternatives so they can install. We know that Australian roofs are a bit tricky to work on. They have different dimensions. There's sometimes they're small, and sometimes they're smaller. So it is just to try and give installers and end users that flexibility so they can maximize the roof space. Just make sure that they're using the whole roof, how big or how small it is, but getting the most power generation with the panels.
No, beautiful stuff, mate. I can remember that house we looked at and I went to visit on episode 1. And the owner was stoked just with I think more so just how much power they were creating just from the amount of roof space they had available to them. So really sort of getting as big a system as possible with as small a roof,
Exactly. We say that new houses come with smaller rooftops all the time, or they have weird awnings, or they have something weird that they're not allowed they're not just a flat roof. So having maybe more powerful panels with a bit more capacity, but with sizes that still fit those roofs, that means they can just bring the quantity of panels lower with getting the same generation.
No, that's awesome. And for anyone out there listening or watching, you can visit our site at ngmatters.com.au/Longi. And there's a page of Longi's on there with all with a high mode 4 and some technical specifications on the actual panel, and some shortcuts as well to their own site. So feel free to check that out, guys. After this is over, look, a couple of quick questions for you. That's when I was speaking to our our customers and social media followers, and sort of understanding what sort of questions, what was on people's minds right now. One thing that's come out, especially domestically here in Australia, is about price increases. And, a few months ago, we were really seeing solar panel prices and the cost of systems actually coming down. I mean, I think it reached points that no one ever thought was actually possible in terms of system prices. Yes, we've had different rebates and, sort of things available in different states around the country. But then really over the past few months, it's almost like it's now completely U-turned and prices are going up. What's causing that? What's causing price increases across the market?
It's really hard to say that it's just one cause. I think that there are different reasons. I mean, for the price increases, it mainly comes down to supply chain. I think, like you said, module prices have increased a lot in the past few months, but we cannot just blame one of the sides. It is, for example, for raw material, polysilicon, glass, copper, aluminium. All of these have had increases. So if one increases, the other one will increase. And for a module that has so many components, the whole price to produce that module is going to increase. Recently, I'm sure you saw the energy crunch that China suffered for like a month or 2 months.
Yes.
And most of the components for modules, for most of the module manufacturers, come from China. So this was a time where Chinese factories had to shut down because there was no power. Power outages in most of China, they were happening at factories, manufacturing plants, for any industry. And on the other hand, we have the effects of COVID in logistics globally, not just for Australia, globally. And this is for every industry. So the shipping costs and the logistic costs, they've resulted in major, fuel costs as well, they've increased. So everything is, I say that it's a cocktail for disaster. Like where every single industry, it is not just one, but every single industry has had different stress points and pressure points where the prices increase. We try as Longi, we try to take as much as we can from the pressure from these increases, but sometimes it's just something that we cannot avoid, and we cannot do anything but just to increase the prices. And it is not just Longi. Every party in the industry has had to increase the prices.
Oh, look, it literally has been industry wide, and almost we work with a lot of distributors, and I'm actually connecting those guys to our retailer partners, and there's the installers that quote anyone that comes to us and it's for a quote for solar power, and everyone's seeing the same thing. I mean, on every single level. I mean, I think from a retailer's point of view, there's been a lot of communication going to end consumers, like the homeowners and business owners, saying, you really, really, really want to jump on the solar train as quickly as possible, because you can never take anything for granted, right? And unfortunately, we've had such a good run for the last couple of years with solar power in terms of really super competitive, crazy pricing. But now I think it's inevitable that those going to hit that sort of plateau and start to go up to what its true value is. And that seems to now be happening. So
yeah, and I think, like you said at the begining, at some point the prices were decreasing and prices were lower and lower, and getting solar was cheaper. And I think it is a fair industry where if prices increase, yeah, unfortunately everything increases. But when prices and when the supply chain is good and we have a lot of supply, the prices are going to decrease. So hopefully this is just a peak, and then in the following years we can see a decrease in prices as well, so more people can get solar.
No, absolutely. And I suppose one other quick question that I want to ask you is, what can anyone who's got solar power on their roofs, I mean, what can they do to avoid wear and tear on their actual panels? I mean, what strategy can they put into play, having now installed solar power, to have them be as efficient as possible for as long as possible?
Look, I think if we take a step back, before going with solar, and it's what I said in the show, going with brands installer brands, installer companies, retailer companies, component brands that are reputable, that have a good reputation in the market. That's your best bet. Certified installers, certified retailers, that's your best bet to get a system that you're going to be enjoying and not just paying more over time. The other thing is choosing those brands that are well known, that have technology, that have R&D behind it, that have quite a good thought and processes behind it. On the other hand, I think it is just keeping an eye on your system, how it is performing. I've heard of people that they install solar and they forget about it, and that's it. They don't know, and then suddenly a few years later, they start seeing their energy bill coming as the same as it was a few years back. And it's not a install and forget about it. I think you still need to clean your panels, clean your roof. You still need to keep an eye on how it is performing. But when I say that going with retailers that are certified, they can also ensure that your system is performing well. Some of the retailers that I spoke to and that are close to Longi, they've even shown me data on how Longi panels are performing with some of the home installations. They say that Longi panels sometimes even outperform more expensive brands. But this is not a sales pitch. This is not to say just get Longi. It is to say get retailers and find retailers and installers that can provide you that after service, right? That post-sale service.
Yeah.
Because they're going to keep an eye on your system for you, and you're going to have that confidence that your system is performing well.
And just in case it was a sales pitch, I have had the shortcut to your page on EnergyMat's website on for this entire time. But look, but I 100% agree. I mean, we work with a lot of retailers across the country that do install your product, and they love installing your product. And I think most importantly, when anyone chooses to become a solar power installer, retailer, it's not just about installing that one system and then forgetting about the customer. They have a relationship with that customer moving forward. I mean, they're still the ones that will help facilitate, the relationship if anything should go wrong in the future. But more importantly, upgrades, add batteries, upgrade the inverter after 10 years, maybe add more panels if the customer's requirements, change, and their consumption habits increase. So,
exactly, and that is one of the reasons why Longi decided to have a fully a full operation in Australia, to have that service as well, right? Because it is not just about selling the panels, but what happens afterwards, what happens if something goes wrong, whatever. We've always had our doors open for end users. If you installed solar Longi panels in your house and then something went wrong, you couldn't find your retailer because it went out of business or something happened, you can still call us and we will take you through the whole process, right? But still, we want to give that, we want to back up our retailers, the retailers that choose Longi, that we're there for them, so we can provide a full service, not just before, but after the installation has happened.
No, which is fantastic. And I know for a fact that, no matter what product you purchase in Australia or any other market, if the shop goes out of business, it's so reassuring to know you can actually call the manufacturer and it be domestic. It be in the same country that you purchased it from in the first place, and actually have a rational conversation about it. Which just makes just fills you full of comfort, peace of mind, essentially, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Mate, a couple of quick questions for you. So, just going on to the zero carbon future, what small changes can people make to move us towards a zero carbon future, in your opinion?
Wow. How much time do we have?
Not long.
That's quite the question. But look, I think a lot has been said. The conversation is quite live at the moment. Everyone is talking about it. Before it was, we need to recycle and recycle. But we've even found that the way we're recycling in our houses is not even the appropriate one. There's a lot more behind it. Look, I would say if you can, and if you own a home, definitely think about going solar. not just because I'm working in the industry, but it is a good decision. I've had friends that they just purchased their first home recently, and they immediately call me and say, "Hey, can you sell me some panels?" I'm like, okay, well, a step back. I cannot sell you the panels, but I can explain how everything works. But that is the first thing that it comes to their mind. Or when I tell them, yeah, I work for Longi, solar panels, and they say, okay, how can I get solar in my house? It is the first thing that people are thinking. So if you have the flexibility, if you have the means to do it, definitely think about going solar. It is one of the best choices that is going to help you saving costs. If you're very aware of how much money you can save costs. And the other thing, I think it is just to be aware and be part of the conversation. Um, it is about making small changes. Anything that you can do, anything that you can change. Your life is not going to change, but I think it is something. There are a lot of things that we can do. I recently read an article about the impact that the beef has on carbon emissions. So I love a burger. I'm gonna still keep eating burgers, but I've made the decision to reduce my beef consumption a little bit. So sometimes instead of a beef burger, I choose a chicken burger or something like that. Right? It's those small changes that make you aware and make the ones that are beside you aware. Um, there are many things that you can do. What I would say is the only thing that you cannot do is just to turn a blind eye on. Just thinking that is someone else's responsibility, thinking that this is someone else's problem, that you're not going to live enough to live the consequences. Well, we're living the consequences already.
Absolutely.
That is, instead of thinking about what you can do, because there's a lot of thought and research behind it, it is what you cannot do, and it's just to forget and think that this is someone else will take care of it. And
Yeah.
that is just our governments. Be part of the conversation. Of course, push for your governments, push for your family to be part of that conversation. And being part of the conversation has many ways.
If every single person on the planet had one bright idea and acted upon it immediately without procrastination, I mean, we reduce carbon significantly just in that one moment. And it doesn't take much. It really is a case of, if it's in your mind, do something about it. Just act now. Don't procrastinate.
Yeah, and it's up to everyone's availability, resources, how much they can do or they cannot do, but just a small step.
No, good man. Final, a couple of quick questions. So for Longi specifically, I mean, what's Longi's strategy around sustainability? Obviously, producing lots and lots of panels, but have you got any other programs and?
Look, I think we're very big on corporate social responsibility programs, trying to help, like the one we did with Renovate. That's a small one, but it's just those little steps and those little things that you can do. Longi has been pushing for a while now their Solar for Solar program, which is mainly, the goal is to have most or all of the manufacturing plants powered by solar.
Awesome.
So it makes sense. It makes sense that, if you're producing solar, if you're producing solar products,
Zero
then
carbon.
you should be using solar. In fact, in August, Longi in China, they announced that they have one manufacturing plant in China that is going to be fully powered by solar by 2023. So it's on track. Everything is on track. In Australia, we're working already on trying to see what we can do in recycling programs. We know that this is important it is important for us, but it is important for our customers, for our end users. So I think we're aligned there. And hopefully by next year, we will have some really good news on what we can do in the recycling space. So we have a full life cycle production and management
That's fantastic. That's so exciting. And really, I mean, there's some great people. And that's a great lad. Hopefully I'll be chatting to in the next couple of weeks in Melbourne, who, recycles 99.9% or something of every single panel, which is absolutely phenomenal. Because I know that is a point of conjecture and has been raised to me a number of times from our followers and from our sort of audience. And it's possible. I mean, it really is possible to recycle almost the entire panel, which is absolutely fantastic. Andres, thank you so much for being on today, mate. I've really enjoyed your company. You're a legend. Always a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Rosh.
Mate,
It's a pleasure. I'm really glad that I can be here talking to you, and at any time.
I know.
I'm pretty sure more will come.
Mate, good stuff. Well, we're looking forward to Open Homes Australia is being filmed. Well, has been. I think your segment's being filmed soon, and that'll be on air next year. So very excited to see what you've got in store for us there. So thanks once again. And before I finish up, just remember that you can get 3 free solar quotes and a free energy bill comparison via our website, energymatters.com.au. So make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also just follow us on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, and all of our LinkedIn pages too if you haven't already. And look, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks once again on this. All the best.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, guys. See ya.